My name's Alastair and I've been mountain climbing for about 10 or 12 years now. I came from a tramping and trail running background and eventually got into more technical forms of climbing. But I've always had that ambition to move through mountains, which means ski touring in the winter or ice climbing up a big face or rock climbing in the summer. Well, I grew up in the North Island, so that meant climbing on Ruapehu and Taranaki until I came down into the South Island, and you get high altitudes and you get more variable snowpack. Oftentimes, if the avalanche conditions aren't good lower down, you're not even going to get close to the summit. So I've often turned around due to avalanche conditions quite early on, before you become committed to the peak. And on climbing Mount Earnslaw last winter on skis, just above the snow line, we quickly realised that the whole snowpack on that east-facing slope was quite unstable. There was a slick crust underneath and fresh wind slab on top. We can feel the chalky texture of the snow. It was breaking off into plates.
Where we were, the run out was pretty mellow, but we were planning to traverse over the cross all the top of these bluffs, so we pulled the pin.
The consequence was increasing. There were lots of bluffs below us, and so it was quite hard to manage the risk. Sometimes you can avoid terrain traps by staying on safer terrain with good runouts, but the terrain that we're heading into above was becoming increasingly dangerous. Just constantly talk with your climbing partners every time you go out. What do you think about the avalanche forecast beforehand? And then once you're on the mountain, just stop and just have the discussion. If you don't have the discussion, you don't know what your partner's thinking, and they might have seen something that you haven't. The more information you can gather when you're out there, the better. You have to stop and dig into the snow and look at the layers, and it can be quite hard to do that, just to stop when you're motivated to keep going up. You actually have to stop and think, let's talk about this. What can we see? Dig into the snow, maybe do some tests and see how reactive it is. The nature of the snowpack, you can't quite see it, can't feel it. It's not like a blizzard is whipping your face with snow. It's not uncomfortable. You still have the energy to go upwards, but you have to engage your brain and to understand the nature of the snow to realise the risk is actually there. It's a silent risk, but it's extremely dangerous sometimes. There's so much to know about avalanches. It's a science, but it's also an art. We definitely want to look at the avalanche.net forecast before going on any trip. And the public observations from people also add a bit of extra knowledge. It's really easy to check. The key thing is just getting out there and getting that experience in safe terrain.